What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City match review, match reaction and match analysis as Manchester City pick up a very important 3 points on the road in the Premier League with a comeback 3-1 victory over Brentford at the Gtech Community Stadium. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. It is free to subscribe. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below, including what you made of this victory in the Premier League for Manchester City and just how good you think Phil Foden is. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. 100 likes is the aim. So, we're going to start off by speaking about the teams, and it very much looked like it was all-out attack for Manchester City. We were speaking before the game, Erling Haaland fit, ready to start for Manchester City. How does he come into the squad to replace an in-form Julian Alvarez? Well, we're going to go back to what we was doing when we had both these players available to us back in early December and before that, which is, you see, Alvarez drop more into space and more into central midfield. Now, I'm going to live and die by this sword, and I'm going to say Alvarez is a far better striker than he is a central midfielder, and I just don't feel like you get the very best out of Alvarez or the very best out of Haaland when we're starting both these players in the way that we're starting them. I have no problem with starting Alvarez and Erling Haaland, but I'd like to see them go as two strikers, as a duo, as a partnership up top, rather than having the expectancy of one player dropping deeper or far deeper like we're seeing from Alvarez, because we've got central midfielders in our squad who I think are far better than Julian Alvarez at doing that job, including the likes of Kovacic, who did that job really well for Manchester City in our match when we played Tottenham Hotspur away from home in the FA Cup. So, to me, it's all about finding the right balance, and if I want to measure up that situation up top, I'd be saying to the strikers, your job is to score goals. You do not score a goal in your next game, you do not start the next game. You go with the other striker and keep going and going until you find a player starts to get into rhythm and starts to get form that they're looking for, because at the moment we're accommodating Haaland and then affecting Alvarez when Alvarez has done nothing wrong since we've had Haaland injured to start as that striker for City and finding them goals. Now, obviously Erling Haaland's the best striker in the world. He's going to need that playing time. He's going to need to have his situation managed very carefully by Manchester City to make sure that he's completely over his foot injury. And at some point, you will have a situation where Alvarez and Haaland are both finding the back of the net, and you need to find a way of getting both these players playing alongside each other, rather than asking for one to stay up top and one to drop into a deeper role to try and accommodate and go more as a central midfielder rather than a striker. And I think a duo, a partnership here between both of these players would work a little bit better than what we saw in this game against Brentford. And it's not just this game where I've seen this come on display. It was working fine at the beginning of the season. It got sussed very quickly, and then all of a sudden I felt like it was impacting how Manchester City wanted to play. If you want to go with the extra central midfielder, put a central midfielder in that slot, not Julian Alvarez. If you want to start Julian Alvarez, start him, play him as the striker. At the moment, Haaland, he's not going to be able to play every 3 to 4 days because he's only just come back from injury. It's going to take 3-4 weeks for that to be the case where he's able to do 3 or 4 games in a row. So I'd be saying, as part of the competitive competition around the squad, you go out there, you play your games, you score your goals, you start the next game. You don't do that, you don't start, and you keep going until you find these players getting a run of form. And it's not just that striking position I'd be looking towards doing that. I'd be doing that out wide as well, which I think is where these rumours that have come from before this game has got underway about Jack Grealish being on the bench again for Manchester City and him not being happy about it, apparently storming out of training. We don't know how true that is, but going off the body language of the player and of the players around him and the coaching staff and Pep Guardiola tells me that probably isn't the case, and that's not something I'd expect from Jack Grealish. But you could believe it, because you can imagine him being very frustrated. He'll be looking at the wide players, and the wide players, some of the players not coming away with goals. So you look at this game and you see Bernardo Silva, he's not done anything wrong, but he's not scored a goal and he's not assisted for Manchester City. So that should be a case now where you want to be going with an Oscar Bobb or a Jeremy Doku or a Jack Grealish in your next game, and you keep rotating your players until you start to find these players getting a run of form. And the one thing I was so pleased about, because one of the biggest concerns I've had, I know how good Phil Foden is through the middle. Can you get the very best out of him if he's playing on the right wing or on the left wing? And what we saw today was Foden finding a really good balance, particularly with Josko Gvardiol going further onto that left-hand side. Obviously going to defy opinion about how well Gvardiol did in this game, but that did allow Phil Foden to drift more into the middle, to pop up in space, read between the lines and be in the right place at the right time. And through his excellent reading of the game, he was in the right place at the right time 3 times to score 3 goals to help Manchester City to pick up the win here in this game. So all round, it was excellent from Phil Foden, and Phil Foden obviously should be deservedly starting the next game unless he wants to have a rest. And I've been looking at that, and that's what I've been doing with the squad, because that's how you manage the business end of the season as far as I am concerned. And City's squad's very small, but we've got everybody available for selection. There's going to be unhappy players, so the situation has to be managed very carefully. And it has to be managed very well by Pep Guardiola, because players are going to be left disappointed. There were players that deserved to be starting in the Champions League final last season who didn't. So it gets very frustrating very quickly from an individual point of view, but you also have to recognise that if it's best for the team, then it's best for the team. At the end of the day, we want to do what's best for Manchester City and us picking up the 3 points, and that is what has happened here. So very happy with that. In terms of the performance, attacking wise, pretty good for Manchester City, creating opportunities, having shots on goal. They were getting shots on target. Flecken, fantastic keeper for Brentford today, and pulling off the saves. 12 saves, 9 in the first half. It's remarkable. It's absolutely incredible. It put Manchester City under so much pressure. Brentford weren't really offering too much against Manchester City. Their outlet came from the counter-attack. Long ball forward from Flecken, gets himself an assist through one long pumped ball forward. Toney takes the defence out. Neal Maupay pops up quicker than everybody else, through on goal. As quick and as simple and as easy as that. A good finish into the back of the net gave Brentford the lead, and City were huffing and puffing, but they weren't finding a way to blow the house down until Phil Foden does his excellent reading of the game, pops up in the right place at the right time, right on half-time. It breaks Brentford's hearts, it changes the team talk, it changes the mentality, and it demoralises Brentford. Gets into the second half, it's all about Manchester City, and they found a way to put the ball into the back of the net. Good assist for Bruyne for the second goal, good flicked header from Phil Foden into the back of the net, a coolly taken header there from Phil Foden, and then Phil Foden rounding it off in the 70th minute for Manchester City with a cool-as-you-like finish beyond the goalkeeper, and securing 3 goals for Manchester City, 3 points for Manchester City, 3 goals for Foden, and a hat-trick for him as well. So kudos to Phil Foden getting my JSGC man of the match. And more importantly, with Liverpool losing yesterday against Arsenal, Manchester City really needed to capitalise. They've done so. It was difficult, it was hard work, but we know we've got a game in hand coming up against Brentford, and psychologically now we can tell ourselves, yeah, this team did the double over us last season, but we found a way to dig deep here. We made hard work of it. They even scored first, and we still found a way to come back, win this game, and win this game comfortably. Take confidence from that. It's a big game in hand coming up on February 20th, but there's lots of important games to come between now and then. You've got to take things a game at a time. We know what it takes to win this Premier League trophy from this situation that we are in. We know what it takes to capitalise upon it. We've got the squad to go and do what we need to do to win the trophy come the end of the season. And no, we aren't speaking about the T word. So there we go. That has been my thoughts. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. 100 likes is the aim. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you all again tomorrow. I've got a Manchester City transfer update with huge developments on Savio joining Manchester City. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.